Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Chtib Zhang Show, episode 61. Eric, the day has finally come. UFC
Yep.
272 has finally arrived. Covington, a Masvidal main event. Of course, usually with all UFC videos, we will be looking at the main card. Was it 5 fights now? I believe there is. And so we'll be talking about that before we jump into the video. As always, roll it. Welcome back to the Chtib Zhang Show, episode 61. Like we mentioned, Eric, UFC 272, has finally come. Jorge Masvidal, Colby Covington, two former friends used to train together, look out for each other, are now enemies and are facing off this Saturday as the main event. But before we get into that, we have a main card to discuss, Eric. Like
Yep.
usual, we have what, 4 fights before the main card. But as we know, the who is it? Fiziev has COVID. I think he's backing out, not backing out, but he can't fight against RDA, which
Okay.
was it co-main event or just second? It was the second fight before.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now we don't know the replacement for RDA, but there's some surfacing information, some surfacing challengers. But before we jump into that, let's start at the first fight of our main card, which is a heavyweight bout. Of course, we're going to be looking at the odds, telling you who you shall put your money on. Of course, you're going to be making a parlay for UFC because who doesn't? And so that's
Yep.
why this heavyweight bout has some importance because it's on the main card. So Sergey Spivak versus Greg Hardy. Eric Spivak comes out in as a favorite, 2-1 favorite, under 215 odds, while Greg Hardy, the former NFL player, is a plus 175 underdog. Eric, heavyweight, who do you like between these two? Who would you put your money on?
Okay. Well, so first of all, Greg Hardy on one side. It's not I don't like Greg Hardy, but I've never really liked Greg Hardy. It started, he was an NFL player. I still remember him. Like not really, but I know he's an NFL player, and he made that transition pretty smoothly, to be honest. But the UFC tried to hype him up quick, but he's not like that. So like he even got a chance to fight Volkov, which is kind of crazy,
Mm-hmm.
but obviously he got beat the fuck up. So the thing with Hardy is not a lot of people like him, but people know who he is. Like this, I don't even think he's ranked right now, but it's a pretty important fight. Last fight I watched of him was Tai Tuivasa. I know that
Oh
his next
yeah,
fight, yeah, that was a good. Well, it didn't last long, but that was a good fight. And then
talking
Greg
about Ty,
Hardy,
didn't Spivak himself? He submitted Ty, didn't he? Ty Tuivasa, Sergey
did he?
Spivak. Yeah, you did submit him. This is
Oh, he
obviously
did. He
before
did.
Ty.
Yeah.
This is before Ty has
Well, it's still
become a serious contender.
in
Yeah,
2019, so it's pretty
yeah.
recent. So, yeah. I'll be honest. Spivak, I don't really know too much about him. Didn't really do my research, to be honest. But he's the one that lost to Tom Aspinall. So,
Yeah, just recently.
we watched that fight. But Tom Aspinall was a good fighter. So
Yeah, he is.
knowing this and that he was on a 3-fight win streak before losing to Tom Aspinall, and that Greg Hardy, obviously I don't really like Greg Hardy, and he's on a 2-fight win streak. Just putting it, I'd probably go with Spivak. I don't know what the odds are saying. You probably have the numbers,
Two
but
2-1 favorite Spivak is.
okay. So yeah, if I had to bet, I'd put my money on Spivak. I'm not really big on Hardy.
Interesting, because a lot of these fights on the main card, I'm not rooting, but I got the underdog betting on. Or
Really?
sorry, not the underdog. Sorry, the favorites. But
Okay.
of course, every main card has to have an
Okay.
underdog when you bet, Eric. And this is the fight I'm
Yeah.
picking. I was either between this one or the Edson Barbosa fight coming up. But no, I decided that I'm going to go with Greg Hardy. I'm going to go with a first round KO or TKO.
Yeah.
Reason being, listen, Greg Hardy is obviously the better athlete, like body speaking.
Yeah.
Spivak's a big guy. We've seen him gas out. And so Greg Hardy, I think he's going to be explosive in the first round. And Sergey
Yeah.
Spivak, listen, he's terrible on his feet early on. Terrible on his feet. If you look at his recent fights, he has lost a lot of first rounds, Eric.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's not the best athlete. And he came off, they were both coming off a KO loss versus Tom Aspinall, basically. But
Mhm.
listen, Spivak's great. He's great with grappling, getting people to the ground, and I feel like he can do that later on. Just in the first round, Eric, I'm taking Greg Hardy to knock him out in the
Okay.
first round. That's I have a feeling that this is gonna hit on my parlay for my underdog, and there's always got to be an underdog. So I'm going with Greg Hardy to knock Spivak out in the first round. If it doesn't end the
Okay.
first round, I think Sergey's gonna pick it up, and then we'll eventually get the win. But man, Greg Hardy has an opportunity here in the first round to make me some money. So I hope he comes through. But that is my underdog bet of the
Okay.
night. But Edson Barbosa, that one was a close one. But moving on, Kevin Holland versus Alex Oliveira. Eric, this is a welterweight fight.
Mhm.
Kevin Holland's dropping in weight, so we will see what he looks like come weigh-ins and
Yeah.
what he looks like on the scale. He is the favorite coming into this one under 275. Oliveira, the plus 210 underdog. Oliveira is coming in with a 3-game losing streak, and he has only won 2 of his last 8 recently. So he's kind of on a slide right
Yeah.
here. So is Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland was great in 2020. He was
Yeah.
amazing. Had a
5
great
wins.
year, 5
Yeah.
wins. Then 2021, not the same success. Didn't find it. Has 2 losses, and then lost. Not he had a no contest to headbutt versus Cal Dawkins. So just had a
Mhm.
tough stretch in 2021. But luckily, he's facing a guy who's also been sliding down, and they're both on losing streaks. But I'm going to take Kevin Holland. Listen, what a lot of people don't know is Alex Oliveira has actually been attacked by a grenade. He was involved in a grenade accident.
Oh
Listen,
yeah.
look at your surprise face. It was around like
I don't know.
December, I think, around Christmas. He was actually, yeah, he had fragments. I forget what it was, but there was fragments in his leg. I don't know if it was about of the grenade itself, but he had to get it like removed. This happened
Yeah.
in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, and ever since that, Eric, he's been getting dropped in the fights. Like his chin, I don't know what it is, but his sustainability on his chin has like he's going down on the ground faster. His chin's much weaker. Randy Brown knocked him down and then went for a stroke. Was it rear naked choke? I think right away. I
Yeah.
don't know what's happened to him. I think this grenade attack, whatever, has affected him, has affected his stamina, has affected his body strength, especially in his legs. So I think this is going to affect him again going into it. His body, Eric, continuously in these 3-round fights now, as of recent, his body keeps shutting down. Yancy Medeiros, he's lost to. Mike Perry, Randy Brown. These are guys that,
Mhm.
like, in 3-round fights, he's getting beat second or third round because his body just keeps shutting down. And so I think the same thing's going to happen here. I'm going to take Kevin Holland. I like Kevin Holland, pressure guy, puts the
Yeah.
pressure, puts people on their back, puts them on their back foot. And so I'm gonna take Kevin Holland. It depends what he looks like at the weigh-ins, but I'm confident he's gonna make the weight. And
Mhm.
I like his fighting style in this one, so I'm gonna take him.
Okay. Yeah. So obviously Alex Oliveira, pretty decent fighter, big UFC vet, been in the UFC for years now, has a lot of fights. Um, and he's never been a top ranked guy. He's always been like, see if someone can beat him, then they can top like jump in the top.
Yeah,
They can take that next step. So he's been like that. If you beat Alex Oliveira, you can take that next step. But especially for Kevin Holland coming down to welterweight, for someone like Oliveira, who's not the biggest guy, but he's like a jiu-jitsu, like he'll take you down from time to time. As I'm seeing, I think he takes people down like 2.5 times per fight, which is
yeah.
not that much. But Kevin Holland's there with like point
Is it
0.9,
per
so
fight or per round?
probably per fight. So that's not that much. It's probably more
Uh,
because he's a jiu-jitsu guy, right? So
yeah,
the thing with Kevin Holland is he was on a 5-fight win streak and then lost two pretty reasonable. If you're fighting Marvin Vittori and Derek Brunson, like
yeah.
those are wrestling guys, and you suck at wrestling. But he went to go train with Daniel Cormier. So, but just his frame, like he's a very light one. He was a very light 185. He probably walks around like barely 200. Like if you look at him, like he doesn't look that strong. So I think 170 is perfect for him. He won't get taken down as because Marvin Vittori, like there are some big
Big
guys,
boys,
but they're,
big
they're like
boys.
220. So
Yeah,
but Kevin Holland had that hype. People's had him becoming champ there, like probably him against Izzy, but that never happened because he was never able to do what Izzy did, like being able to stop the takedown defense. So for this fight, I'm gonna take Kevin Holland. Just from experience, I'm not gonna lie. His fight against Dawkins, I know it came as a no contest, but he did get submitted at the end.
Yeah,
But it was still a no contest. But the fact that he got submitted was a little iffy.
yeah.
He's starting to go down the decline. But don't forget, Kevin
So
Holland
is
2020.
Yeah,
Yeah,
2020 Kevin Holland, dynamite.
2020. He beat some good guys. Sousa, Joaquin Buckley.
Yep.
So those are some decent fighters. So I think 170 Kevin Holland will be able to do some damage. I can see him going up to. I don't think he's ever gonna win the title, but he can definitely make it the top 10, top 5. We'll see. We'll see.
Interesting. I got Holland second round TKO. If anyone wants to
Okay.
put a specific
Okay.
bet, a player prop or anything like that, I got Holland in the second round. This is a 3-round fight, of course. And like I said, I think Oliveira, his body's going to be wearing down. It's probably going to be a crazy first round. Kevin Holland is going to be putting the pressure on him, and then so I'm going to go
Yep.
Holland TKO second round for me. As we move up, Eric, this one was a tough fight for me to evaluate. I mean,
Okay.
Edson Jr. Barboza versus
Yep.
Bryce Thug Nasty Mitchell. This is a featherweight battle. Number 10 Barboza versus Mitchell, number 11, a fast climber in the ranks, having a great UFC career so far. But Edson Barboza, Eric, every time you get in the octagon with Edson Barboza, he puts on a show. That, of course, we know. But man, I mean, Bryce Mitchell, Eric, I really love Bryce Mitchell's game. He's of course a grappler. Edson Barboza struggles against grapplers. He's got a great chin, Bryce Mitchell. He's got a relentless pace. He's got the striking. He's got the grappling. He's got sticky grappling. His stand-up is a bit, it's weird. He's, it's jiu-jitsu like type. But that's not really what I'm worried about. I'm not expecting him to go toe to toe with Edson Barboza. That would be a failed plan. That would be an idiotic plan. And so, he throws strikes and then he throws takedowns consecutively. And then if you get up, he gets you down again. He's consecutive. He's always just on you every time. So, he likes the arm triangles, so maybe I'm looking at a submission. But most recently, Barboza, I don't know. He's just his recent losses come against grapplers, which Mitchell does great at. He's slowing down with age, of course. We know he's a great striker, explosive striker. He's a great kickboxer. He's got the knees, he's got the legs, he's got the hands. But I just don't know with the age right now. It's just I feel like grappling and getting taken down is his biggest weakness. And Bryce Mitchell is going to learn that, or he already knows that. Been training for this fight, so I just think Bryce Mitchell is just going to win this out, probably decision, I'd say. And just he's going to grapple his way. He's going to just get the mount or get the top control on Barboza throughout the 3 rounds, and that's it. So Barboza is going to have to. He's got to make quick of his chances that both of them are standing. He's going to have to trade and he's going to have to win those battles and hurt Bryce Mitchell if he has a chance of winning this decision. Or he can knock him out, but man, it's just Mitchell's going to be sticky, man. Sticky hands are going to be on Barboza 24/7.
Yeah. So the thing with Barboza is pretty similar to all of it. Like Barboza has actually been close. Like he's always been like top 10 guy. Then if you look at the fighters he's fought, like I'll list some of the fighters. Like this is a very good resume. So you can even start off. So there's Paul Felder. He beat him once. He beat Bobby Green. He lost to Donald Cerrone. He beat Anthony Pettis. He beat Benel Dariush. So So he lost to Kevin Lee. Lost to Khabib. Beat Dan Hooker, and then he lost to Gaethje, and then lost to Felder. Lost to Ij, and then he beat Shane Burgos, a very good fighter, and then lost to Giga. So just that, like. Just the names, like this guy's fought some really good fighters, but obviously, as you said, when he fights against grapplers or wrestlers, he's gonna. And Bryce Mitchell is one of those guys. I remember watching Bryce Mitchell. Was it a year ago? Because he was like the featherweight guy who was undefeated, right? And I remember I watched his fight. Like he's not bad. But it's like people don't really like to watch wrestlers unless you're at the top. If you're like top 5, you like to watch a wrestler, but like not in the other card. So it's like at this point, he's just trying to win some fights. But Bryce Mitchell is a very good fighter, still undefeated in his UFC career and MMA career, and I think it's going to stay like that. I think Barboza, at this point in his career, I don't think he's going for any push. but realistically, he could because the featherweight is starting to get pretty open, right? Because Giga lost. So if
Yeah.
Edson Barboza starts what 2-3 fight win streak, I could see him right up there. Because if you, that's what happened to Korean Zombie. Like Korean Zombie, like is he even that much better than Edson Barboza? You know, so
Yeah, I would say he is.
oh, yeah,
But
pretty, but not that much because don't forget Edson's fought these 155 guys and very competitive against these 155 guys. Like he's fought some good competition. So, but right now Edson, tail end of his career, might not have too many fights left. So, but hey, he's so fun to watch. His what spinning back kneel
Yeah.
thing,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
So he's a fun fighter to watch, and I'm excited to see him fight because he's gonna be in. He was it a main or co-main or like in the main card. So
It's in the main card. I don't know if it's a
yeah,
co-main event. No, it's definitely not a co-main event because that
yeah.
was, if anything,
But
that was
this
the RDA fight.
but this is what I like about this card. So we'll talk about the main fight later, but just the fact that it's a non-title fight, but they're able to put a decent amount of good fights before that
Oh
because
yeah.
what's good about a card is not always like obviously you like looking at the top, but remember that card with Dustin Poirier and Charles? That was a good card, man.
That was a
You
good
go in the
card.
prelims
What
and
was
you
that,
got like Ty
UFC 270 or 60
69, I think 269, maybe.
269?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 269.
Yeah, 269.
December.
Yeah, so look at that was if you look at back on it, that was one of the most underrated. You had Ty on the prelims, Dominic Cruz and Pedro
Yeah.
Munoz on the prelims, and then wow, that was a good. That was
I
a
even forget the main card. Who was on the main
no.
card?
Kyra France, Cody Garbrandt,
Oh yeah, it was
and then
that
you got
one,
Amanda Nunes, Sean O'Malley.
Yeah. Oh,
Still
yeah,
had Emmett, and you had
Josh Emmett.
Santiago. Like that's a good card.
Yeah.
And this card obviously not as stacked, but you still have
better than the recent ones we had. Better than
yeah,
the
for sure,
Adesanya
for sure.
card.
Yeah, because Adesanya, you before that, yeah, it was yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, the Francis card really didn't have much.
No,
but no, this one I like it. Even if you go down the list, you can even find Khabib's cousin, Umar.
Yeah, I saw that.
Who is actually a really decent fighter. I remember watching his first fight. He's a decent striker. He's a featherweight fighter, decent fighter. I don't know how fast he'll climb up the ranks, but he looks decent. So I don't know if
is he from Dagestan?
Well, he's his cousin. It's his cousin.
He'll get up there. Don't worry.
Yeah, he'll get up there for sure.
Dagestan don't mess around.
Yeah, and are we gonna talk about another Dagestani later on? Probably.
Oh yeah, we might actually be talking. Speaking of good transition, we are talking about another Dagestani, Eric, another Dagestani that we recently just talked about, Islam Makhachev.
Yeah.
And if you got a little deja vu, yeah, it's because we did mention his name just last episode. He just fought Bobby Green as a replacement for who is he replacing? RDA.
Beneil Dariush. Beneil Dariush.
Beneil Dariush. And then first round TKO, man. He showed his striking in that fight, Islam Makhachev. And he looked pretty good at doing it. But RDA, Eric, in the lightweight division, number 6 rank, was supposed to go against Fiziev, the number 11, who was up and coming, had 5 straight wins, flashy striker, who beat Bobby Green, Brad Riddle. And this was going to be a great fight. And Fiziev, I thought, had a lot of momentum going into it. I thought he was going to pull out the win, but he he got COVID, I think. Have to withdraw from that fight, and now we still don't know RDA's replacement. However, we have Islam Makhachev, Eric, who just beat Bobby Green, probably secured his title spot in our opinions, obviously, in the lightweight division, but he still wants to put the nail in the coffin and confirm his lightweight championship spot by beating RDA. He tweeted he wants to step in. He wants to do a 170. Let's go. And obviously asking him to cut weight as he just fought to 155 is kind of unfair. And RDA said he's down to do it. So let's go, Dana White. Let's get the gears going. His fight Saturday. Give me RDA versus Makhachev. That would be amazing. Talk about a great card already, and you give me Makhachev and RDA as a co-main event. I mean, come on. And Makhachev could do it. He wants to do it. He's gonna step in. He could easily get ready for this fight. And he doesn't really. Yeah, well, training, like, what's he have to look out for RDA? RDA is great at Muay Thai, right?
Mhm.
He was known for taking people down and going to the ground, but then he worked on his striking early on in the 2010s. So now he's become a full balanced fighter. And however, he's 37 years old. His
Mhm.
body's wearing him down. Him continuously having to cut to 155, Eric, is taking a toll on his body. He's taken a lot of damage throughout his years.
Yeah.
So he's only been knocked out twice, but still he has been raw. He's been hit, he's been hurt, and his body's been worn down. So like, he beat Paul Felder, like you said.
Yeah.
He looked great in that fight. Or no, sorry, not Paul Felder. That was someone else. But he did
No,
beat
no, no,
Paul Felder coming
no,
back.
he did. Yeah.
Yeah, he did beat him,
Yeah.
but he was on a losing streak, whatever. Then he came back, beat Paul Felder, looked great in it. But like, still, if RDA versus Makhachev were to happen, I'd take Makhachev, Eric. I mean, it's pretty deep. Like, we know the
Yeah.
game plan to Islam Makhachev.
Yeah.
He's gonna take you down. He's gonna mix in the ground and pound, but mostly he's gonna be looking to submit you or get the TKO win. But I
Mhm.
just don't think RDA is not going to be able to stop his takedown attempts. And if Makhachev were to do this, I think he wins, and then he just automatically claims the next title shot, even though he most likely already has it. That's what's incredible. The
Yeah.
guy still wants
Yeah.
to fight,
Yeah.
even though this loss, if he were to fight against RDA, could cost him his chances at a title shot. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just it's incredible.
No, no. The thing with Islam is because the main thing on Islam was, oh, he's never fought a top guy other than Dan Hooker, right? He's never fought a top guy, but
Number
everyone
6.
knows, like, no, yeah, no one wants to fight Islam. Like, it's a fact that no one. There's no point in fighting Islam. We've talked about this multiple times. We've been talking about this for what? Probably talked about this a year ago.
A year ago.
Yeah. So the thing with Islam is he's never been highly ranked. Like, everyone in the division knows he's probably the best fighter in the division. If you look at the opening bets for him against Oliveira, he's a huge favorite. So I don't know if he should be that much of a favorite, but he definitely should be a favorite, and I'd probably have him winning. So just the fact of that shows how good he is and how good people think he is. So fighting a guy at what he was like 15th ranked before, like, no one would want to, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because he's that good. But this fight against Dos Anjos, as we're talking about these guys that if you beat, you take that next step. Dos Anjos is one of those guys. So many people have been exactly. So many people have beaten Dos Anjos and then been able to take that next step. If you don't beat Dos Anjos, like, you know what I mean? Like, Dos Anjos is that next step that you exactly. And if Islam were to fight Dos Anjos, I think it'd be a pretty easy fight for him. I'm not gonna lie, just because if Chiesa is able to take Dos Anjos down 6 times, imagine how many times Islam can take him down. But what was interesting was Kobe did fight Dos Anjos, and it was a really close fight. It's for the interim belt. But this is like, what, 2 years ago?
That was no, that was a few years ago.
Yeah, 4 years ago now. Whoa. Yeah. I don't know.
A few years ago.
I know. For me, it feels. Yeah, I know. For me, it feels like a couple years ago because I still remember that happening. So, that was a really close fight for the interim belt. Almost won it, lost. So, and if you look at these fighters he's fought.
He was also 33 though. RDA back then, Eric.
Yeah, I know. But these are the people he's fought: Paul Felder, Chiesa, Leon Edwards, Kevin Lee, Kamaru, Kobe, Robbie Lawler, Neil Magny, Tony Ferguson, Eddie Alvarez, Donald Cerrone, Anthony Pettis, Nate Diaz, Benson Henderson, Khabib, Donald Cerrone. Like,
I know. Oh,
this guy. Names. Yeah, exactly. So
I recognized every single name.
Exactly.
I've only been in the UFC for a year and a half now.
Yeah. So, hey, you don't play around with RDA, so it's a pretty risky fight for, like, not really risky just because we know Islam, but for anyone else it would be risky for sure.
It still is. The risk is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Like Makhachev just won.
Yeah.
Last Saturday, he's most likely won the shot for the next title. I mean, we looked at the lightweight division there.
Yeah.
I mean, Beneil Dariush backed out, right? So, and then Makhachev has now the leverage on him.
Exactly.
So there's no more delay. Makhachev's going to fight the top 5 guy. Like, none of those guys deserve it over Makhachev.
Yeah, exactly.
So why would he have to face them? But now he wants to fight RDA and he wants to shut up all his haters. And I'm down for it, man. I wanted that. I mean, talk about a great card if this were to happen.
Yeah.
Islam versus RDA. And this is a huge opportunity for Makhachev and even a huge opportunity for RDA. If he were
Yeah.
to beat Makhachev somehow, it
Yeah.
would immediately put him up there in the title contention,
Yeah.
right? So, well, maybe not, but a huge, like, people will be looking at
huge jump.
RDA. I
Yeah.
don't know if you get the title shot next versus Gaethje, but maybe one fight away, or
Yeah.
maybe, who knows?
Because RDA is a very, very underrated fighter.
Yeah.
He's still like just the way he fights, like he's got that grit, and he's very well rounded. So the thing is, the problem with RDA, well, he won the belt, so you can't really like he won the belt,
Yeah,
so he's
but
been a
his
champ before.
belt defense wasn't that long.
Yeah, exactly. He lost right away. So I'm actually beat Donald Cerrone, so one time, and then lost Eddie. So
Yeah.
the thing with DeSantis is, if he fights a really good striker, he'll lose. And if he fights a really good wrestler, he'll lose. Like he's just a very average, not average fighter, of course, but he I don't know. It's like the good strikers will beat him, and then the really good red. So he's kind of a weird spot. So that's why he's a very good stepping stone. Because if Islam can beat him, 100% he deserves a shot. Because everyone who beats RDA almost gets a title shot after, So
I don't know if RDA would get the title shot if he beat Islam.
No, not at all.
I don't think so either.
No. Like obviously, maybe.
No, I don't.
You could argue it.
No, because then there's the argument about Islam not even deserving a title shot, and what makes RDA beating Islam. So.
Yeah.
But no, if like that's the thing, RDA beating Islam, I can't even like think about it. I can't even imagine that because it's just so fantasy world to me. It's just fantasy, pure fiction. So,
but you know what's crazy is because Fiziev, who dropped out,
I would have taken him too, though.
Yeah, Fiziev would have won. Fiziev would have won. But you know what's crazy? Bobby Green fought Fiziev, and as I told you last week, I thought Bobby Green could have probably won that fight. He won the overall fight, but didn't win the rounds. So don't sleep on Bobby Green either, man. This guy's on the come up for sure. The UFC is starting to make a push for him too.
Yeah.
And he obviously, I was gonna say he's on a 2-fight win streak, but he lost to Islam. But that doesn't count. It's Islam Makhachev.
That's what I said. What was I talking about last week? Right? It's a win-win for Bobby Green.
Exactly.
You can't put a dent on his resume because he just lost to Islam on a week's notice, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and he also made a lot of
win-win. Yeah.
Yeah, he made his money too. So
it was a great win. He's happy. You think he's pissed losing? Fuck, he got to fight Makhachev and he got to double his money, and not double.
Yeah.
Got
a good amount. Yeah.
Good amount in 2 weeks, and so he's happy about that. But talking about another stepping stone, Eric, we moved to Jorge Masvidal versus Kofi Covington.
Let's go.
Notice I call Jorge Masvidal a stepping stone because that's how I see him in the.
Oh yeah.
Division.
Okay.
I don't know. It's a name thing, and when it's a big fight whenever you face Jorge, even though he loses some fights, most fights, but he's lost a few. Colby Covington, Eric, versus Jorge Masvidal, the main event. I mean, this is just this. I
have too much to say. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how much time we have left, but
no, we're good. I'll introduce it quickly. Listen, Jorge Masvidal, Covington, Chaos versus Gamebred. This is crazy. Covington, the number one ranked fighter in the welterweight division, still, even after his loss versus Kamaru, versus Masvidal, who's the number 6. What's crazy, Eric, is Colby Covington is a 3-1 favorite. That is crazy. That is extremely high for someone who's facing off against Jorge Masvidal. I mean, put some respect in Masvidal's name, right? A 3-1 favorite. So that's why a lot of people are looking at Masvidal to maybe upset Colby Covington, because those are just too good of odds to pass up on.
Yeah.
And so look for Masvidal. He's a plus 265 underdog. So I'm really looking at that. But realistically, I'm taking Colby Covington in this fight, Eric. Most likely a 4th round TKO or something like that. He's got the pressure. He challenges fighters, puts them on their back feet. He's got the takedowns, and man, he's got a great chin. I didn't even realize if there was one thing that I thought is a weakness of Colby Covington, it was his chin. But man, you look at that Usman fight. How many times did he get hit clean by an uppercut or a hook, and right away he's back up or he's ready to fight? So man, that chin showed me a lot, and so I'm giving him the great chin status, Eric. He's got great kicks, right? So they're powerful, they're accurate, and he's just an all-around fighter, right? Takedowns. Is he going to go toe-to-toe with Masvidal during most of the fight? Probably not, because Masvidal, as we know, is a sharp striker, right? He's got power. He's got the flying knee whenever he wants in his back pocket. And I'm definitely going to be expecting a flying knee in this fight. But the difference between these two fighters, Eric, is we have an active Covington right now, who is active in his fights right now. He just fought a few months back, Kamaru, but versus an inactive Jorge Masvidal. Masvidal
Okay.
hasn't fought in a while. Last time he fought, he got knocked out by Kamaru Usman in a title fight, and so he's been inactive for a while now. And so that's like I'm looking at Covington. He's coming in with the momentum, right? He's in the fighting shape. He's just fought recently, so I'm taking Covington probably
Okay.
fourth round TKO or something. I don't think it goes to decision. I don't think he's gonna submit Jorge because there's a lot of trash talk, and I think it's gonna be like a ground and pound TKO.
Okay.
So that's what I got. But do you want to talk about this beef, or do I need to introduce it for some of the viewers? Is that what you want to talk about?
Okay.
Because I can
No,
introduce the beef.
introduce it, then I'm gonna go on a crazy rant. Or
So
not
these
rant, but
two, for those who don't know, these two have actually been close friends for a while when they, going through the beginning of their UFC careers. And Colby Covington, sorry, no, Jorge introduced Colby Covington to a trainer by the name of Paulino Hernandez. And that guy was teaching Masvidal, or Jorge, or sorry, not Jorge, Covington, the striking component of the game. And, in return, Colby was teaching Jorge how to wrestle, and Jorge was teaching how to strike, basically. Anyway, and they were close. And this Hernandez trainer was with Colby, I think, ever since he started 1-0 in his career. And then they got to the interim fight versus RDA, which we were talking about. And Colby Covington won that fight, the interim belt. And RDA was supposed to get, or not RDA, Paulino Hernandez, the trainer, was supposed to get 5% of Colby Covington's purse, which was around 350K. I'm not sure exactly, but so basically, if you do the math, 5% of that is about 17,500. So $17,500, and he only gave the trainer 5,000, and so that's why. You frozen, Eric?
start the whole thing.
I'm gonna restart from here. Terry's gonna, from here. Okay, so Eric, we're back from another incident of your Wi-Fi messing up. Happens every episode, so we got used to it. But like I was going to mention, I was going to start with this beef. I was going to explain the beef, Eric, between Colby and Jorge. So how it started was these two started off their careers training together early on. Jorge's good friend, trainer Hernandez, was helping Colby out with his striking game. Colby was helping Jorge with his wrestling. Jorge was helping Colby with his striking, vice versa. They were best buddies, looking out for each other, training together. And this Hernandez trainer has been with Colby ever since he was like 1-0, I think, or something like that. Mm-hmm. So it's been a while. And then you get to the RDA interim fight for the belt, the interim belt, and Colby wins. And their agreement with the trainer Hernandez was that Colby was going to give him 5% of his winnings of that fight, and he got around 350K from that win. And if you do the math, 5% of that is about $17,500, and he only gave the trainer Hernandez $5,000. Only gave him $5,000. So we're not sure why he didn't pay the rest. There's reports that Colby back then told Jorge he's about to give the trainer too much money than he can handle. So Jorge went to his trainer, let him know about this, let him know that he wasn't going to be expecting to pay him, and Jorge was pissed about it. And basically, that's how their friendship kind of took. There was some cracks that were beginning to fall. Jorge was saying that he treats his family like shit, and I was beginning to see how bad he was treating me. And then he started this character, right? Colby Covington, after he beat was it Damian Maia?
Yeah, Damian Maia.
Yeah, Maia in Brazil. He started shit talking Brazil and Brazilians, and fucking Jorge and Hernandez are like, bro, what the hell are you doing, you idiot? Don't trash talk a country. Anyway, that's basically how their relationship kind of fell through, and the two went from friends to enemies, and now they're going to be looking to punch each other's teeth in this Saturday as the main event. Covington versus Masvidal. Eric, go ahead. It's all on you now. Release your TED talk about these two.
Yeah. Okay. So the thing with this fight is I've been following this for years, man. Like I'm like, this is around when I started getting to UFC. This is when the beef was starting to rise up. It's because the thing with this fight is so crazy. There's so much for me to say, and I don't know where to begin from. Every single YouTube video or article that comes out about this fight
hasn't freaking.
I know. I hope so. I know. But every single YouTube video article I've read about this fight, I've watched or I read. So I know literally the whole story, right? I'm so excited for this fight. So, as you said, very great analysis and very great storytelling. So, as you said, the thing is, Jorge Masvidal picked up Kobe Covington right when he left college. So he was a wrestler. He saw Kobe Covington. He came out. He's like, okay, we still an amateur, and he's like, I want to get into MMA. So he took him into ATT, American Top Team, and was like, Jorge was like kind of his, I don't know, his recruiter, like kind of like his mentor, right? So at first, Jorge was just let him sleep on his couch, let him eat off his food, right? That's what he said. So that's how it started, and then they both started rising up. And as you said, Jorge Masvidal was that stepping stone guy, you know. So he was that guy that people would beat, and then they'd make
a
the
name
next
for
step.
themselves.
Yeah, exactly. So Jorge would go in like a 2-fight win streak and then lose a decision, and then lose a split decision. You know, like very close fight. He never got knocked down ever until obviously we know Kamaru.
Yeah,
but it's kind of crazy that you say he's been inactive, because I remember that Kamaru fight that like it was yesterday.
I know.
And it's crazy that it's almost been like a year since the fight. So for me,
yeah,
I don't know. It feels weird. So that just proves how much Kamaru's been active, though. This guy fought Gilbert Burns, Jorge Masvidal, and Kobe in 1 year. Like,
bro, and it proves how big of a character in the UFC Jorge Masvidal is, and how much impact he has.
Oh,
Dude, the guy lost 2 title fights.
Yeah,
and he's
back to back
headlining a main event versus Kobe Covington. So like that's what I mean. He's a big name. Every time fight, like whoever fights him is gonna have a great opportunity to make a name for themselves, right?
So that's the thing. And when the reason why Jorge actually got the title fight at first was obviously he was on his 3-fight win streak, but it's the reason why is because Gilbert Burns put out, and then Jorge Masvidal came as a 6-day notice. They sold 1 million pay-per-views, which is kind of crazy. It probably was helped by the fact that it was the first like sport event in 2020. It was like around I think it was like in May or something. So they got 1 million, which is kind of crazy, because I don't know, like other than Conor McGregor, no one really makes a million pay-per-views. So that was a huge fight, and then Kamaru probably got paid, and he's like, "Whoa, yo, let me fight Jorge again." And then that's why Jorge Lee lost, and then got another title fight right away. So that's kind of crazy. But the thing with Jorge is he was that stepping stone guy, and then he took that crazy step up when he left the UFC for a year or two. He went on a reality TV show. He hated it. He found himself. He was like, I'm coming back. Now I'm not here to just not lose the fight. I'm here to win these fights, you know? So comes back with this different mentality. And just now he's just here to knock people out. Just here at every fight. Because a bunch of his fights are close. Like he's never really been dominated. So it was just very close fights, because the way he fights is very high stance, up straight, looks very tall and very square. And his striking he's one of the best strikers in the welterweight division. And his takedown defense is really good. So that's why he's always been a really good fighter. And he took that step up. Kudos to him. He beat Darren Till first, really good fight, knocked him out. And then Askren, that was huge. That plummeted his career. Like he went crazy after that.
A highlight KO like that. I mean,
exactly.
Of course, he's gonna skyrocket.
But you know what's crazy is the fact that he actually knew what he was gonna like. That was
he called it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. No, he was practicing it. Like that's because the thing is, if you think about it, is Ben Askren was probably was gonna beat Jorge if he took him down. You know?
Yeah.
Because that's what Ben Askren.
And he knew it. He knew the takedown was coming, right? Because he knew he wasn't gonna fucking stand up with Jorge in the first round.
Yeah. Because people understand, Ben Askren was a heavy favorite, and Ben Askren was undefeated at that time. He was seen as he was gonna be the next guy up, but obviously right after that, Ben Askren's career went down there so quick after that. But it's kind of crazy to think about, because how badass was that though? Like hands behind that and then goes up.
Bro, it almost looks scripted when you look at it again.
Yeah, I know.
Just the Ben Askren dip into the knee. It looks like Ben Askren just got a bag to do that.
But if you think about it, I bet that's probably what Ben Askren would do. But no one would get. You couldn't pay me like $3 million to get knee in the head like that. There's no way.
Though. You'd be surprised. Not $3 million, but you'd be surprised some of the things people would do. For a big
knee in the head like that. Come on,
who gives a shit? If you paid me the right price, I'd fucking get knee. Okay, what you're like? Are you worried about like knee to the head because it hurt, or about his like career
Bro,
afterwards?
no, it hurt, bro. It's not the fact that, bro, that's you like, bro, you could like literally like get like
No, I
some
know.
bad shit. You know
Fastest
what I mean?
like
Like,
KO in UFC
no,
history
no, but
podcast.
like the brain damage, like that's what
Oh,
I'm
okay,
not.
yeah.
I'm not like talking about the repercussions. I'm just
Oh,
saying
okay,
like
okay.
the shit it could do
As
to your head.
initially right after. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. If I was like a
Steve, Steve, it's a flying knee to your head, like
no,
yo,
no, but like it
right
goes to
here.
yeah. But it's also like the
Like
question, like, how much money would you take to take an uppercut from like prime Mike
yeah,
Tyson, you know?
exactly. And
I
people,
mean, it
some
probably
people
breaks
got
your
paid like
jaw.
yeah. Some people didn't even get paid to fight Mike Tyson. Like, how crazy is
Yeah.
that? Like
But
they
like how
get
much
paid
would you just
$500.
like how much would you take just to stand there and take it from him? Like
No,
millions.
but that's different, bro.
Millions.
Steve, a flying knee to the noggin is completely different, man. I'm telling you, there's so much
Dude, I don't
power.
know. Mike Tyson could break your jaw. Your jaw would just.
Okay, fair, but
I don't know. No, there's definitely. It looks scary, but like I'm telling you, if
yeah.
Jorge was like, "Yo, Ben, let me pay you, I don't know, $8 million to fly knees to the head." Okay, where do I sign?
No,
But no,
but
that didn't
no,
happen. But it looks. I
no.
always like look at it, and just the way Ben Askren moves into it, it
Yeah,
just
I
looks
know, I
so
know.
scripted.
Because
Not saying it is. Not at all saying
no,
that
no,
Ben
it's not. Yeah, I
Askren
don't, yeah,
had this plan. No, that was a clean KO.
yeah.
Ben Askren went for the takedown, but it just looks hilarious.
I know. But hey, that was huge. Jorge became a superstar after that, and then he fought
Yeah,
Nate Diaz for the BMF title, and it wasn't even a title shot, and they're the main
yeah.
the main event of the pay per view. So just that beat Nate Diaz, beat him bad, and then obviously right after that, two title shots and then a loss. And then it's pretty similar for Kobe if you think about it in the last few fights. So his last few fights, he beat Robbie. So if you go a bit back, it's Dos Anjos, and then fought Robbie Lawler, and then lost to Kamaru, which is pretty really close fight, right? And then beat Tyron Woodley, and then lost to Kamaru again. So I don't think right now the last five fights are pretty even between those two. I'm not gonna lie. I think Kobe definitely has the edge though. If you look at Kobe, other than Kamaru, this guy he has an amazing career. You know, other than
Complete.
Kamaru, exactly. But the only thing that intrigues me about this is the fact that Dos Anjos put up a fight against Kobe. And what's crazy is Jorge, the way he
You still
fights.
talking about Colby versus Dos Anjos 4 years ago?
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it seems so soon, but because okay, no, I understand that now. Kobe's a completely different guy, right?
Yeah.
But that was 4 years ago. That's crazy. What? Okay, but Kobe's a completely different guy. His striking is amazing now. Like it's always been good, but you could see even in the Kamaru fight, like his striking is up there. Like he connects, and his pace, his endurance is ridiculous. This guy does not gas out.
No.
He's super strong, and he's probably like if you think about it, he's probably a better wrestler than Kamaru. If you think about it, it's the fact that Kamaru didn't even want to wrestle with Kobe, and Kobe was able to take him down. So I think Kobe's probably the best wrestler in the division right now. Oh, whoa, Hamzat. I'm sorry, I forgot about Hamzat. Not even different level Hamzat, but
Kamzat?
yeah,
Is it Kamzat?
no, it's Kamshot Shimaev. That's what he
Kamshot
calls it.
Shimaev.
You know what's crazy about Kobe is Jorge said like I thought about it because I always thought it was that's how the story went. You know, like the UFC was gonna cut him, and then Damian Maia fight goes crazy, and then Jorge was like, "No, that's what he tells you. He's just an asshole." And I was, it made me think about, but I don't know. Obviously, there's
Because Jorge was saying that, like, he was saying, like, before their fight, before he was going to fight Maya or whatever, he told his trainer, Jorge, like, I'm going to talk shit. I'm going to give it to him.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And they're like, no, like, you shouldn't do that and stuff like that. And he did. Like, they're like, you shouldn't talk shit about a country. And yeah, clearly he didn't listen.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And he apparently rubs, like, Dustin Poirier hates him. Right.
Yeah.
And so,
Joanna Jacek, Amanda
when
Nunes,
they were training
Tyron
at the
Woodley,
same gym, he just rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And so maybe he is an asshole. Who knows, you know? I wouldn't be surprised.
Because the thing is he an ass? Was he always an asshole? And then,
or was he acting like an asshole?
Or was he acting like an asshole? Or like, you know, like, or was it the fact that like, oh, fame now? Like, do you think he putting up an act?
Yes.
Or is this his real character?
Because Colby said that when he said all that shit about the Brazilian stuff, it's like, that's not Colby. He's like, who took control of Colby? He said he was well spoken, he had manners, he had respect. And I think what it is was he keeps saying the UFC cut him, right? Or is going to cut him. We don't know the full story now. And so that's where I'm like, what the hell to believe? Like, did
I
Colby
know.
Covington just all of a sudden out of the blue just say, I'm going to be an
Hey,
asshole in the UFC?
I
Because it
know.
doesn't make sense if the UFC like wasn't going to cut him and Jorge's saying that. I can understand why he builds this character because the
Yeah,
UFC might cut him and needs to sell
yeah,
pay-per-views. I get that. That's what I thought it was the whole time.
yeah,
But now Jorge's
yeah,
telling us that he's just an asshole.
yeah,
I don't know what way to believe. I'm gonna lean with Colby because it makes sense. I don't know
yeah.
why he'd be a well-spoken person, liked and everything, that just turn into an asshole all the time. So that's where I'm gonna lean with Colby's side, but
Okay.
I don't know.
No,
I
no,
don't know.
it's definitely crazy because these two start from the bottom and now they're literally both at the top, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's weird because Jorge, would you consider Jorge's probably a bigger superstar just on the fact that he generate more money and he's way more famous. But on the other hand, you have Kobe who's almost as famous but way probably a better fighter,
Well,
right?
listen, a lot of people hate Colby, right? So a lot of people tune in to watch Colby lose. And
Exactly.
Jorge is just everyone loves. Like, how can you not like Jorge Masvidal
Yeah, yeah,
and everything he brings, right? And so I don't know who's a bigger superstar and who's
yeah.
more important to the UFC. That's what you should be asking
Oh,
for.
I
Who's a
think
bigger
Jorge is more.
asset?
I think Jorge brings in way more money. Like if you look at the pay-per-view buys between the Kamaru versus
Yeah,
Kobe
Jorge.
and Jorge versus
Kamaru.
completely different. Yeah, way more. So that's how I see it. I think
Who you
Jorge's
taking? You got Colby?
I'll be honest, I got Kobe, but I don't know Jorge. The way he talks
I
and
know.
ever
There's something in
since
my head.
ever since he's beaten Darren Till, just the way everything about Jorge,
Jorge.
he's just been beating people other than Kamaru. But Kamaru, like you can't really like
No.
Kamaru's just
I
on a
mean, it's
different
not that
level.
like they both lost to Kamaru, man. So it's
Exactly,
irrelevant at this point.
exactly. So I think unless Jorge pulls out another flying knee or like he has a crazy move in his head that he's gonna pull off,
Yeah.
I think Kobe's gonna be able to win. It's kind of crazy because I don't know, man. Like if you're in a cage with someone that you hate so much, you're not letting the fight go to
Bro, he wants
decision.
to put him in the ER. He might not
Yeah.
make is what he said.
That's fucked up to say. I'm not gonna
Like, yeah, dude, there's something in my head that's telling me Jorge has the upset.
But
Like,
do you
lock
think
it
do you
down.
think it's gonna be a decision or someone's gonna finish someone?
If someone's gonna finish it, that's why I think it could go
Yeah.
decision very well. I
Yeah.
think Covington 4th, 5th round even TKO.
Yeah. So
But Masvidal could win.
How I see it is literally whoever wins this fight wins the argument. You know, like there's an argument. If whoever wins the fight wins the whole like you're at the top.
Yeah.
I'll believe. Well, it's not. I'll believe you, but it's like, hey, if you win, you're on. Like, so that's what's crazy is if Jorge wins, the only
Beat the number one contender in the division.
Like Jorge wins, he's skyrocket. Like people will see him so much differently, you know.
Yeah, but we get Usman, Masvidal 3.
Why? Maybe not. Maybe not. But
Jorge can wait until the next.
Because Jorge fought at 155 before.
Oh, you think he cuts? No chance.
But no, he's in the tail end of his career, so he probably wouldn't cut. But Kobe was talking about like maybe going up to fight at Asanya, but that'd be decent.
So you think Covington's got it? You think it's decision?
I don't know if it's decision, man. I think it's like submission. I think Kobe wins by submission, like a rear naked choke. Maybe like puts him to bed. I don't think Jorge would tap. You know, Jorge's too badass to tap.
But like, would fucking Kobe submit? I feel like Jorge's just gonna be a bitch. I'd be like, dude, fight me like a real man. You know, like taking me to the ground, you bitch.
Yo, I don't know, man. Yo, this is such like
depends on Kobe wants, like how much he wants to piss off Jorge.
Because it's such like
round one.
It's such like anything Jorge would do is because like he's trying to like everything he does has got to be badass, you know. Yeah. So like he's not gonna go like he's gonna fight and like I don't know. It's just like everything he does got to be badass. So I don't think he's trying to win by decision. Like,
yeah.
Oh,
I don't know.
But I don't know it. Because I saw some people say like, "Oh, this is scripted." Like a lot of people were saying that, but I don't think there's there's too many people involved.
This has been years now. I feel like
exactly. There's too many people involved, and there's too much going on in
Colby Covington.
Yeah, and
for it not to be warranted.
Exactly. Like why? There's no way these two were like, okay, now that we're gonna fight each other since we gotta hate each other. Like there's no way
even
that
Dustin, man. Even Dustin's like, I'm not fighting Colby Covington. Like if I fight him, I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah.
Like, holy, like fucking, what did Colby say to him? What did go like to piss off Dustin Poirier that much? What
Ugh.
did you do?
I know. But it's crazy. I'm like, because Kobe like he's told everyone he's putting on an act, but like people like still think like I don't know. It's so confusing. But
like,
that's
to
what's
what
good about
extent
this
is
character.
he acting like? Is he continuously keeping this act on when he's not in the octagon and he's outside world and he's fucking just being an asshole? You know, so maybe he's like he's doing it in the wrong places, and maybe it's just taking control of him. Is this new persona? Is his new him? You know, so
But what's good about Kobe is he can back it up, man. Like he can say whatever he wants not in the ring, in the
what
octagon.
Matters is in the octagon.
Other than Kamaru, like even Kamaru, man. I'm not gonna lie. I said that Kamaru won the fight, but I'm telling you, it's close, man. It's close. And even the other fight before that was if there was no stoppage, that would have been close, really close. So literally, Kobe in like, hey, he's underrated. Like people are like he's a villain. He's good for the UFC. So, oh my god, I can't tell you how excited I am for this fight. It's just I can't wait.
It's going to be great. It's happening this Saturday. So before we go, let's go through both our parlays. I'll say both of ours. You got Spivak. I got Greg Hardy. We both got Kevin Holland. We both got Bryce Mitchell. And then RDA, Makhachev. Well, we don't know who's fighting RDA. I would say if it is Makhachev, put your money down on Makhachev.
Makhachev,
If it's anyone else, probably RDA gets has the upside because I don't know what kind of ranked fighter would fight RDA, like who they're gonna find, you know. So most likely, if it's Makhachev though, take Makhachev, and then Jorge and Colby. We both got Colby, and so that's a little nice parlay. You can make some money. Most likely, like Barboza fight and the Spivak Hardy fight are the most like question marks for me. Everything else I'm pretty confident in. Even like Jorge and Colby I'm pretty confident Colby can win, but man, if Jorge wins, man, that'd be like something. But yeah, thank you so much for listening or watching the Chtib Zhang show on Spotify or watching here on YouTube. I haven't mentioned it talked at all, but yeah, I did mention it last week. This is my new setup in my dorm room. I am in Toronto. Not much to look at. There's still stuff missing in the mail, so I'm going to spice things up for my setup a little more, put some lights and flags, so expect that in the next week, but we'll have to wait until then for episode 62. But for now, episode 61, UFC 272. Make sure to lock in your bets come this Saturday, because it's going to be entertainment at its
going to be sad that we won't be able to watch it together. I just thought about that in Toronto right now.
Oh well, you know, duty calls though, gotta continue the job. But once again, thanks for watching us, and we'll see you in the next episode. Roll the outro.